Hello.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Welcome back to the C Word Chronicles podcast. We missed you.
Missed you guys.
It's been years. I'm your host, Olivia.
And mi amo Ribu Thomas. In the past 3 weeks, I've become bilingual.
It's been 3 weeks. I had no idea it had been this long. Sorry about that.
Time flies.
It's calling me right now.
Okay, really?
The amount, I was telling John this too, the amount of telemarketers spam calls, and you know how they say where they're from? I've never
Portugal?
even heard of this place in Texas. How do you say this?
Oh, it stopped.
EULESS, Texas.
Oh, Euless.
Where the hell is that?
Euless is, if you don't know Euless, you're not really a Texan.
I have no idea. Let me put this on
Euless
Do Not Disturb. I am so sorry.
I got a call from Portugal recently.
Oh, what's they want?
From Porty down in Portugal. I don't know. Which, isn't Brazil a country that speaks Portugal?
Nope, Portuguese.
Portuguese. But it's in South America?
Yeah.
Why do you think that happened?
You don't know about
That's Santa Ana?
the migration of the people from Portugal.
Uh-huh.
They migrated to South America to find refuge.
From what?
From war and wartime stuff.
Do you believe that during World War II, the Germans went to Argentina?
Yeah, there's a bunch of Nazis there.
Currently?
Yeah, it's a thing. Has anybody...
Are you conspiracy theorists? Or like you like to look into them?
This is petition like 670 something to get John on the podcast. At least I proposed earlier, like at least a mic on him. We don't have to show your face, but like
that's a good idea.
Can we get you a mic?
That way we can hear some of his answers.
Yeah. And then was it yesterday, John? I was like, he was like, yeah, so far all y'all have called me. It's like, like told me I'm dumb.
Conspiracy. I just call him conspiracy
theorist. I was like, it's love, John.
Oh man.
Anyways, welcome back to another episode of the C Word Crons. We're just shooting. We're both a little delirious today. Happy Thursday. Senora vibes today. We're on one because since we podcast late, very late into the evening. Mm-hmm. I am not going to make my mom come super early and spend all day with Julian, even though I don't think she would mind. So I had him in the morning, and I hadn't done a Senora Vibes in a long time where I sit there with Juge with my coffee and the news. Mm-hmm. And it was nice to reconnect because typically he gets up, we'll go on a walk, and then I'll go and start doing work and stuff. So it was nice. News update.
Miss Rachel had a new episode?
Yes.
Does she not drop weekly?
I don't know her schedule, but Juji has gone down to one nap of his life every day, one nap. And any mom, I think, feels my pain and being like, this is a significant change in our life, because waiting for him to go to sleep when he gets up at 8 or a little earlier, and then he doesn't take a nap till after 12. Yeah. I'm like, what do I do with you all morning? So, you can only go for a walk before it gets so hot and blah, blah, blah. So it was time to turn on MR, as we say, because we can't say Miss Rachel because he's like a dog and we'll like go and be like,
right when we pick up the remote, he is
knows.
Looking at the TV.
Yeah. So I just happened to click. I was like, oh my God, this is a new one. And it's crazy how many views she has.
What does she have already?
So it was an hour old and it had 64,000 views. Shut up. An hour old.
Why can't some of those viewers come to our episode?
Do you know the one that we watch all the time? Because I don't even like go through the episodes of Miss Rachel. I just pick whatever one comes up on the recommended thing. And I looked, I'm like, how many views does this video have? It has like almost 150 million views.
She's probably making hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions, you think, right?
For sure.
What do you think, John? What do you think she makes off her? Like,
you will, John.
Why aren't we there, John? Like, she probably makes millions. She doesn't have to do anything. She sits there and just.
Oh, I mean, she does a lot. Bless.
No, I'm talking about all the videos she already has. Like, she doesn't have to do anything.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think it was like a year-old video, and it had 150 million
and
views.
They're not like high-quality production.
No,
so I've seen Miss Rachel's. I mean,
it was funny because we went to a 4th of July party, and my cousin was there, who I hadn't seen it in a while. Shout out Ileana and Nick. And we were talking, they have us almost 12-month-old. So we were talking about Miss Rachel. I'm like, do you watch Miss Rachel? Mm-hmm. They were like, oh yeah, we love Miss Rachel. But she was like, her hand, like we were talking about the same thing. She was like, because they do close-ups of her hands doing like the Muppets and the puppets and stuff. And she was like, their hands are a little dry. And I was like, yeah. And also, and then you were like, her lips sometimes be a little crusty.
Yeah. But she's making millions.
But I'm like, she can do whatever the hell she wants.
Like there's literally a green screen behind her, but there's nothing on the green screen. It's just a green screen.
It's literally the color green. And then, but it is cool because, I mean, she tapped an untapped market early.
I'm going to tap it too.
Shoot, me too. I love Miss Rachel, and so does my son.
I'm going to tap Miss Rachel.
Anywho, so Senora vibes this morning were on point. And per the news and per the weather, we are in a drought.
Yeah.
And I know I complained about it a couple episodes ago, but like, we've had historical, torrential, downpouring rain, and then the minute it turns hot, how come we're in a freaking drought?
Because it is not just hot, it's hot.
But it is hot.
Boiling.
It is freaking hot.
So hot.
What was we saw it was like 118
I don't know, I'm saying this wrong, but someplace in the United States, 118. And it was like 10 straight days of over 110. Is that climate change?
I don't know, but
is this what they were talking about, or is this just like a normal thing?
No, I think this is like, again, one for the books.
Like, have y'all heard of anything about the sea level rising recently?
Not recently.
Have you checked anytime?
No, I haven't checked in.
Because you would think, is this hot? Like, wouldn't it rise? Wouldn't something be melting out there?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see
the ice caps.
They seem to be fine.
Ice caps?
That they're melting?
Yeah. Exactly.
God.
John said they're melting because we're getting closer to the sun.
John just is factual over here.
You have Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And then John.
John Orozco.
Anywho, so that's the update on the weather front. It's just hotter than
fish grease.
Excuse me?
You ever heard of that?
I haven't heard of that one.
I guess fish grease gets really hot.
Okay. Wow. Who have you been talking to?
A couple people here and there.
Anyway, so what's a sports update over there?
Sports update, it's pretty much off season. NFL training camp starting soon, so that's exciting. A lot of fantasy football talk picking up.
Oh,
I absolutely love fantasy football.
Can we talk about?
I already signed up for YouTube League, NFL League Pass.
I think your dream job would be like a fantasy football analyst.
No, I just would love to win fantasy DraftKings.
Yeah,
in any sport.
The amount of effort you put into learning about that.
But last year I did so well. I won probably can't say because IRS, but okay. There's like a limit where you have to report. I won right under the limit.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So IRS just hired 80,000 new agents.
Dang.
And it's like, instead of hiring them, can you take care of my student loans?
Shoot. Do you think
they probably have student loans.
You think student loans should be forgiven?
Oh, we're going there? I mean, I'm very biased because I have student loans. I know. So I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Somebody
posed this question to me, and I was like, yeah.
But the problem...
But just ours.
The problem is not... So the problem is the student loans that people have, but the problem is these colleges just charging crazy. Like, you can forgive all you want.
Damn expensive to go to freaking college.
Yeah. You can forgive all you want, but then the next crop of people are going to have the same problem.
Exactly. And then it's really a multi-level.
How would you solve this issue?
I think I would just make it more accessible and affordable to go to college.
That is a political answer. You're beating around the bush.
I don't know.
Exactly.
It's so layered.
Dare I say Trump-like answer?
It is so. It's
huge.
It's
huge. China. Can you do it? You did it pretty good.
I can do a good Trump impersonation.
Huge. That was good. That was a good one.
I can't top that.
I just love when he's like, the fingers are.
I saw on TikTok a recent picture of him today, and they were like, "This is without the filters of Trump," and he looks old. He looks up there with Biden. You know how Biden looks dead.
Biden be looking another level. Like I think he was talking about the war with Russia and Ukraine, and somehow he mixed up Ukraine for Iraq. I'm pretty sure because he was like Russia and Iraq, man. I was like, there's a war between Russia and Iraq going on.
He's so old. They're both so old.
Isn't it crazy that those are the two candidates, though? that are like probably going to be running it all. I mean, unless DeSantis wins, but
Jesus, don't get me started there.
The sanctimonious. That's what he says. That's you gotta give it to him. He comes up with some.
He's entertaining.
Sleepy Joe.
What did he call it?
The sanctimonious. Oh, the kung flu.
The kung
flu. And he says it on national television
with pride. Like, he does not care.
He gets away with every. I
know.
I mean, they're trying to get him.
Bless, they try, but
my man gets away with everything.
He just knows how to do it.
I always remember like if Joe Biden, if it was COVID time and Joe Biden had a daily presser, I wouldn't be watching daily.
Right.
Like I probably would in the beginning, but after a while I wouldn't. When Trump was there, you
got to tune in.
It was like, what is he gonna say? And then he was like, "Can we put light in the body? Can we put light? You know, like that." And I'm like, dude, this is so entertaining.
Yeah, he's just entertaining. He's a star.
He's kung flu. We'll go down. That was a good one.
You know what is crazy? Speaking of kung flu, we've never had COVID.
Knock on wood. Somebody I know just had COVID.
Really?
Yeah. It's like you don't hear about it anymore.
To them?
Yeah, we'll find out in 5 days.
Oh God, John, you had COVID, right?
3 times. Yeah. I was like, people don't get it 3 times without
for
trying.
nothing, John.
Yeah, you got to try to get it. No, we really haven't.
We almost lost him.
I mean, you know what's crazy? Time. What are the chances I have cancer over COVID?
I know. I was like, we didn't get that C word, but we got the other one.
I was like, I'd rather have COVID. I mean, could cancer be caused by COVID? The vaccine?
Girl, don't get
we talking about
started with
loans?
that. Should we just go with
that? We ain't anti-vaxxers, though. Or are we?
Well,
stay tuned. Next episode. But,
I don't know. We've never had, and we've been,
for sure. We've been around.
We probably had it, but we didn't know we had it.
Yeah.
Like
during that time, remember how we were looking for, I remember my old job.
They couldn't looking for COVID.
I remember my old job. They couldn't find gloves. So I ordered off of Alibaba for them. Mm-hmm. I don't think they ever got reimbursed for those.
Probably not knowing that.
And then they closed down.
I just remember when it was March 2020 and I had my 30th birthday bash planned and everybody was going to come and it was going to be
at the house, right?
lit at our house and with everything and it was going to be so fun. And then this mysterious little virus came popping up China a week before. And I remember being like, oh, maybe I can just postpone my birthday for the week after.
Can we do it now, 4 years later, your 30th?
So 3 years later. So yeah, that's funny. We never got COVID.
We were doing a taco truck. We were doing a bartender.
I was gonna get a bartender and all of that stuff. It was gonna be so fun at the house.
I remember that was the first time Ruben and Tina and the kids came down, and we had everything planned.
They came down. Week. Yes, the whole weekend for spring break. Because they never went back after spring break.
Yeah.
So they came down. Yeah, and they were like, yeah, people are. It was literally they came down. Let's say a Thursday and Friday you had to go to the grocery store and we were so nervous for you to go to the grocery store and there was nothing on the shelves and then Ruben decided to put on Contagion, which is a movie about a deadly virus that spread
and we all sat there watching we were like, oh my God,
and people would literally die if you just breathed on them or something and then and it was so similar to what was happening and I just remember kind of looking at everybody are we really watching this right now?
And I just remember Trump being like the Wuhan flu. You know what I mean? He talks like that. I just remember we were just watching every word he was saying.
What a mess. But here we are.
So and it's like it's not around anymore. We don't.
Well, you just said somebody has it.
Yeah, but when do you hear about it? When's the last time you heard someone had COVID?
I don't know.
Yeah, when did you hear about it every single minute of the day previously? But all of a sudden it's not.
Isn't it crazy? Things that have come out of COVID, good and bad, different system, policy changes,
tell me
everything. A new career. That's when I started my stuff board. And
wait, you started No, you started that year.
I started that. I think that late October. That year because I was stuck at home.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Things have come from that good and bad, and that's a thing. Is people with big, devastating world things like that, like the Great Depression, things happening in the 60s, and like a lot of companies come out from those harsh times.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of one.
I know. I remember this too. There was like all of these cool companies that came out of like hardships.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, speaking of companies, how's yours?
Oh, it's good, pretty good. I don't think I talked about sports yet, though.
Well, hurry up, Ruby. We don't go all day.
I don't even know how I got into this, but I wanted to bring up, this is the off season of, we have summer league going on. Victor,
you talked about fantasy football.
Yes, but then Victor Wembanyama got drafted.
Oh, right. That's a big one.
That's a big one, San Antonio. And it's crazy he's in our city.
It's crazy he's like down the road.
And
well, I don't know where he's staying.
Like we would think he's down the road, but like this big dude is like in our city walking around. Probably tallest guy in San Antonio. Right? Yeah. And
I didn't realize he was 19. A baby.
Yeah, he's a baby.
A child.
And also in the world of NFL, a lot of people getting suspensions for gambling. So like a lot of players are gambling, which I don't know if they knew the rules, but they're gambling in the facility, meaning like betting on games. Like, and a lot of them are their own team.
Oh, really? So can you not do that, or you can't do that in the place?
Well, you can't gamble on, if you're playing in the NFL, you can't gamble on the NFL first off. But then,
I've never even thought of that.
And then you can't gamble in the facility either. And so like a lot of these guys just get suspended. Homicide. And I think that's just crazy. And because that's where everything's going, right? Gambling, daily fantasy.
Yeah. It's hard not to gamble,
Yeah, it's addicting.
Do you play poker?
No. Well, I try to, but I just keep forgetting the rules.
It's so hard. I feel like you have to be very quick with math.
But I want to play poker.
I think it looks so cool.
Like we would play in PT school. Everyone would come over to
that's
Chris's, our places, and I was like one of the first people out. But Jobin was always good at it. I think Chris and Jeremy were pretty good too. But I always sucked.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though. It's like a
cool pastime. Phil Hellmuth.
Excuse me?
Phil Hellmuth. He's probably one of the best poker players of all time.
It's such a lucrative. What is it? A sport game?
I would say sport.
Yeah. John, do you play poker?
I don't know the rules. Yeah. I just know like flush.
Royal flush. I know like the hands.
Straight.
That's what it's called. Get it together.
I think there's a straight. I think there's the LGBT.
Speaking of LGBT,
Dave Chappelle.
Was that your peak?
Shout out Jeremy. Thank you for getting me a ticket to Dave Chappelle last second. Oh man, he was great. And Anderson .Paak. Am I saying it right? Yeah. Anderson .Paak. He performed beforehand, but he was like DJing and like drumming, and that was cool. Dope. And then Dave Chappelle is just hilarious.
I say the LGBT thing because he had a joke about it.
Yeah,
he was just that connection.
I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but I'm sure a lot of it's not going to be on his special that comes out, the Lunatics Manifesto. That's what it's called, I think. And he started off by saying, he's like, I'm not here to make jokes about LGBTQ because all the controversy.
Don't do that joke on here.
No, but then he says, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about the straight. I'm not here to talk about the LGBT community. I'm here to talk about the handicap. I don't know why. And then he just starts.
And then he did something after.
Yeah, and then
Dave Chappelle is one of those comedians that is just so intelligent.
Yeah,
I feel like he's not like, and his history is crazy. Like he was just like this prodigy at a young age.
I didn't know he was that big at a young age.
19, like he just popped off. And from then he just has been this kind of like historical, like greatest of all time up there with a lot of comedians.
His skit show was just
so funny.
So good. Like people still quote that stuff today. Like Rick James.
Yeah, I know. He's what's it called? Like iconic.
Yeah, he's so iconic.
And he was at the AT&T Center, which is a huge freaking stadium. Oh, it was sold out?
Yeah, for sure. Like the line,
that's insane.
Like to get to AT&T Center from where we were should take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It took us an hour.
Just
to go a mile.
Traffic.
Yeah.
Did they have the same parking stuff as like they do at the Spurs game, or I didn't see anything limited?
Different. I didn't see not one thing different. I just don't know what took so long.
Dang, that's crazy. Imagine how much money he's making on tour.
Oh man.
I mean, I know a lot of it
and through Netflix.
And through Netflix, he bought their special, but like just through tour.
Yeah.
And like merch. Apparently, merch is where you get a lot of it too.
We should do merch.
The logistics of we should. Would y'all like merch? I have some ideas. But yeah, so that was your peak, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that was dope.
I forgot to introduce the segment, Peaks and Pits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. For a second, Rip called me. He's like, hey, I'm on the way home from work, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll see you soon. And then he called me like 2 seconds later and he was like, hey, so crazy. Jeremy.
I did not say it like that.
Yes, you did. You led me on hardcore. You were like, Jeremy
no, I didn't say it like that.
Asked if we wanted to go to Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah.
And in my head,
I'm like, you on.
Oh my God. Oh, how did he get tickets?
Yeah, I did that. I did that.
You're like, oh, no. It's just me. It's just me and Jeremy going. And I was like,
I told Jeremy that. I was like, she thought it was both of us. I was like, oh, no, it's just me. You didn't get tickets.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't really.
But I redid all the jokes when I got home.
You did. You had a good recap for sure.
Deliver.
You delivered for sure. I felt his essence in you.
Yeah.
For sure. It was a late night. I was telling John like that you got home kind of late.
Yeah.
Traffic, and then you got food and all of this. And I am feeling so tired today.
Me too.
Because we probably went to bed at 1?
We're not late sleepers anymore.
No.
You think that's normal as you get older?
I'm just so tired.
Like I remember being like 1 o'clock and being like ready for the day. But you know what I think it is? I think it's work.
The cancer.
I mean, probably cancer. But I think it's like responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, for sure.
It's not like the age. It's the age of responsibility.
Yeah. You get older, you get more responsibility.
Yeah. That's what's like, I got to wake up to go to work.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so our dumbass son, Julian, has been sleeping till 8:30.
Yeah, who does he think he is?
8:45, maybe 9:30.
I remember my dad would tell me like, "Do you think this is a hotel?" And so like sometimes when I woke up late, and so I want to go to Julian when he sleeps at 9:45. You think this is hotel, son?
Dress up.
We have work to do this morning.
No, but so for the past couple of days he's been sleeping late, and so of course the day we go to sleep late, I'm like, oh, he'll wake up maybe like 8:30, 8:45, maybe even 9. He went to sleep. We went to the pool. He's super tired.
He went to sleep at 8 o'clock that day, right?
He went to sleep at 8:30.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, he'll get up at like 8:45, whatever. 7:50, he's like, crying, and I'm like,
oh yes, last night. Yeah. I thought you meant the night before when he woke up.
I was banking on him sleeping late because we went to bed late. His track record had been he's getting up late. But he must have smelled that we went to bed late.
Oh, are you saying so you can get more rest?
Yeah, so I'm tired.
How about me?
What about you?
I had to go to work.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I feel it more. Like, we've gone to bed late before, but I just feel it.
The 1 o'clock felt different yesterday. You know what? It was a weekday.
It was a weekday.
It's just a weekday.
And you know what it was? It was a Wednesday.
Yeah. Why do you think, like, have you heard this whole thing of, like, they put us through school 8 to 5 to get us set for the working man's life?
I just don't agree with it. There's so many things I don't agree with that traditional school notion, nor do I agree with working 8 to 5.
Like, what do you learn in school?
Nothing. Were you good in school?
Oh yeah. I think I was like top 20 in my.
No, but more so like middle school under.
Like good in grades?
Did you like school?
No.
Why not?
I just didn't. It was so boring.
Right. Same.
Dude, my teacher in high school made us pick a song and write about it with a meaning of it. What the fuck did that do for me?
You think these teachers are like, I don't know what to do today. I'm pick a song and write about it.
Like, what the fuck does that do for you? Right? Like, I'm supposed to write like they think I'm like, and I told, what if I like the song and be like, I'm gonna be a rapper? They'd be like, have some realistic expectations.
Yeah, exactly. School, and then for that long.
Yeah.
Did you know school start, like, I think Tina and Ruben were like, yeah, school, and my nephew too, Brandon, school starts at 7 something. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
In whose green earth does it need to start that early?
Yeah. And like.
On all day.
When's the last time you used the FOIL method?
What's that for?
Exactly.
In my head, is this for
like the only thing we remember, me and you, or the only thing, I'm a pretty good mathematician.
Yeah, math just...
Someone with dyscalculia like you, the only thing you probably remember is what PEMDAS stands for, which is?
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Yeah, but what does it really stand for?
I don't know.
Yeah. Parentheses.
Plus. Oh, yeah.
Plus. But stuff like that where I'm like,
yeah, I just wasn't into school. I liked it because of my friends, and I never was like a bad student or anything, but it just didn't gas me up,
My favorite teacher was Dr. Rivers in Agnew Middle School. Not only did he teach us math, he taught us life.
I would appreciate some life lessons up in there, like how to do taxes, what the hell are taxes, how to
fill out a W-4.
Yeah, W-9. All of that stuff.
And even to this day, when I fill out a W-4, I'm like, the IRS to go and get me.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
So I got to ask, speaking of which, the accountant hasn't mailed me back. Like, did I fill this out correctly? Sometimes I'm like, are they going to catch me? Did I put one too many dependents? Even though I have one?
Insurance stuff. Teach me about insurance.
Oh my God. All the shit now.
Like, what the heck is a deductible?
Yeah, you have to go through it to figure out what a deductible is, or out of pocket.
Yes.
Or what's covered, what's not covered.
PPO versus
HMO.
H2O.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, no, and you know what's crazy is you'll call and they're like, yeah, you'll call the insurance. Like, you got a PPO or HMO. I'm like, no, my name is spelled RIBU. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What letters you're throwing out there. But people will just throw out shit and you're expected to know.
I know.
But over at school, we're learning about fucking PEMDAS.
Yeah.
And
the biology of a cell. Who needs to know that?
I mean, we use that.
No, we don't. The biology of a cell.
Yeah.
Why do I need to know what the nucleus is? You know what I mean?
You don't think you know that for medical school?
Not really.
That's a little too much there.
Review, all I'm trying to say.
That's important.
Or photosynthesis, this Krebs cycle.
Yeah.
There's just all of these
photosynthesis
things. What's that?
Nothing. I agree. I don't know about photosynthesis.
But you know what I'm saying?
How often do you think about photosynthesis? Not really, right?
No, not at all. But I mean, it is an incredible phenomenon.
And what is everyone who's listening to this, please shout it when I say it. What is the powerhouse of the cell?
Shoot.
Oh my gosh, are you
mitochondria.
Serious? Yeah, ATP mitochondria.
That's right. Anyways.
Took you a second.
Yeah, I was like, shoot, chromosome.
You have one too many chromosomes.
Okay, one story and then we'll move on. In PT school, we learned about some bullshit like the anatomy of a cell in your muscle or something. Mm. And there's this chromosome called ribosomes.
Not a chromosome.
Well, what is it?
It's a part of a cell.
Okay.
It helps with RNA production, my friend.
Okay. And it's called ribosomes. ribosomes, right? And Ribu had to get up in class and he thought he was so
No, that's what y'all thought. I really did.
I really thought it
was pronounced this way.
He was like, when you do this of a cell, it's called ribosomes.
My whole presentation.
And everyone's like cracked up the first time. And he's like, so when ribosomes come into contact with ATP, the ribosome gets sliced and everybody's like, oh, he's serious. He thinks it's called ribosome.
And so when I remember that because when I sat down, the teacher was like, good one, ribosomes. I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Why is this spelled R-I-B? Why wouldn't it be pronounced rib?
Because
ribe, like where's
ribosomes?
How do you spell? If you didn't know, how would you spell ribe?
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. How do you spell rib?
R-I-B.
Exactly.
But I think it was like the
what the fucking O is silent?
You were saying it like this. The ribosome.
The first time
you were being like cheeky with it and everybody's like, oh my gosh, ribosome, blah, blah, blah. And it was funny. Anyways.
I remember that day.
And everybody.
It took me forever to figure it out.
Why is everybody laughing? Why is everybody laughing?
I was saying it exactly how it's pronounced. I remember that.
Anyways, what's your pit?
My pit is my insurance.
Here we are back.
I feel like every other episode is an
with
insurance.
The mother loving insurance.
I gotta
and I always say, what's the point of insurance?
Dude, I don't get the point of paying so much for something just to get denied for everything.
I don't know, Ribu. Here's
my shout out to pretty much insurance, denied medication, whatever. We'll figure it out. Per usual.
Yeah.
That's the gist of the story. But here's my PSA. Is that the word?
Yeah, public service announcement.
Yeah. What is a prostate exam?
Excuse me.
What is the prostate check? The lab, was it PSA, right?
Review, I don't know. I've never had one.
Prostate antigen, something like that.
Okay.
Anyways, PSA, not the prostate version, is even if you're healthy and you don't got to worry about your benefits, number one, pick the benefit plan that you want. But one thing I learned is every insurance plan has an advocate that will go to fight for you when your insurance denies something. Just know who your advocate is.
Yeah, you found one.
These motherfuckers don't tell you shit when you sign up for benefits.
It's just like this third party. That's all they do. I guess so.
My last company had one.
Shout out Michaela.
Michaela Springtide. The relationship's over, though. I called them today, and they're like, sir, you don't have our insurance anymore. I was like, but Michaela said she'll help. And they were like, Michaela's no.
Like, I don't know who this person is.
They're like, you can't use us. I was like, well, thank you then. So I was like, crap. So I was looking everywhere. They're like, your insurance has an advocate. So what do you do? What would you type in Google? Health advocate. I called, and here's the downside. I'm not saying like third party, like what is it called when the call center is like in a different country?
Oh yeah.
When they outsource their like on call. God damn it. Every freaking insurance agency outsources it to where I have no problem if you got an accent, but god damn it takes an hour to get through a phone call. And they're so nice. They're like, hello, my name is, and I'm like, okay. And it's like, they cannot understand me. And they don't understand the severity. I'm like, literally, I was on the phone. I was like, I'm dying of cancer. They're like, well, thank you. Please leave a 2-minute survey. My God, I'm not going to leave a survey. But it's like, so they outsource it, and like, it's supposed to be Aetna concierge, and it's like, it's not concierge. Anyways. But I think everybody has an advocate. Like even mine, I had to go through our like benefits and just happened to stumble across it. And I called and they're like, yeah, we'll help. I was like, do you guys help with this stuff? They're like, yeah, it's our job.
They're like, this is all we do.
And she got on the phone with me, called the insurance, and like hopefully this, all works and goes through, which I don't see why not. But so my PSA is if you have benefits, obviously choose a good plan. You never know what's going to happen. And just find out who your advocate is, and I guarantee you it's going to be so hard to find because a lot of times people don't know. I mean, in my first job, no one even knew about the advocate.
Right. I think because people typically don't need it, huh?
No, they don't, but like you don't know when you will. So like just to know it.
But I think that's one of those things. It's like an issue or it's a dire need when you need it.
Yeah.
It's like No, I didn't know that either, but I've never needed anything crazy.
So like that, just know you. I'm pretty sure everyone. I mean, I had it with both. I had it with my last one called Imagine Health.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, like, I'm sure everyone has something.
I've never heard of this concept.
Yeah,
it's great. Hopefully that they'll help. But
and like financial clearance. If y'all know someone financial clearance, MD Anderson, y'all motherfuckers made me pay $5,000 for a CT and said you reimburse me, and then y'all asked me to pay another $1,300. Where that though? Like y'all willing to swipe a credit card real quick, but y'all can't pick up my phone call real quick. I called today a few times. I'll be there on August 17th.
Yeah. You best believe that.
I came from New Orleans 4 weeks ago. You best believe that.
You gonna find us.
Yeah. So financial clearance, if you know somebody, I mean, y'all can apply it towards the deductible because y'all ain't applying that thing right now.
Yeah, I'm about to tag MD Anderson on this clip. We'll clip this because they follow us on Instagram.
No, they don't.
Yeah, didn't I tell you?
MD Anderson why are they following us?
Because you have cancer at MD Anderson, and
they just follow all their cancer patients.
I'm a fantastic. It's what I do, baby.
Why aren't we utilizing that?
I've tagged them. Oh, don't worry. I have a plan with them.
You think we get sponsored?
I'm trying to get us sponsored.
I'm
trying to get us sponsored, because they're doing a lot of, and I'll tell you later. But yeah, they follow us on Instagram because I posted
on C-Word or
on the C-Word Chronicles podcast Instagram and TikTok. Shout out, follow us there. But I posted a picture of you. I think it was the last time you did chemo in that pink elevator vibey situation, and they followed us and then liked all of our stuff.
Okay.
And so don't you worry about that, baby.
Yeah.
But I'm about to tag him and be like, where's my money?
Yeah. Like,
ho?
Where, like, I think it's so crazy how they're quick to swipe.
Just kidding, MD Anderson. We love you. You're not a.
I mean, I want $5,000 back. And like, yeah.
It's crazy with places that big. John, one more time and you're out of here.
Dropping shit everywhere.
God, John.
You can get it, John. Don't worry about that. Don't let her talk to you like that.
Kidding. John and I shot something real cool. Was that this week? Yes.
Week. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. It's dope. John came in with some product shots.
Dare I say one? I mean, the wagon one was dope. I would say that's probably one of your top videos.
Thank you.
Like just the way it was filmed and everything like that. So awesome job, John.
Yeah, it was fun with radio.
Awesome job, John. Live. You can be a little better there.
Okay.
Great. John's all John. Okay. When they give Emmys for like scorecard and like what's it called scorecard? Score. Mm-hmm. And John will get a word.
And editors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was dope. And this one is good. It looks good too.
Yeah, this one was cool because I don't know. It was just cool. I was gonna say it. I'm gonna just say it. It's not out yet, but we did a brand deal with Dr. Talbot's.
Yeah.
Which is just like a homeopathic baby medicine brand, and they're at Walmart. And it was really cool because they hired me to create content saying that they're going to launch their new rebranded medicine line at Walmart.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to just kind of like do some educational, entertaining stuff. And it was like so fun, and I loved it.
Is it only at Walmart?
I don't know. Maybe.
Shout out Talbot.
Dr. Talbot.
Is he an actual doctor?
I don't know.
You think he is?
I think there's so many like brands like that. Dr. Talbot's, Dr. Brown's, Dr.
Goldbond?
Something with an H. No, not Dr. Goldbond. But anyways, it was fun. And
Dr.
John,
Teals.
Dr. Teals. And we shot here in the studio, and I was like, this is like a real ass studio. Cause
it is.
We had to move this desk in front of this blank wall. And then John put like this box light behind the product. So it was like blown out and dope. Good. And then he was like getting his food photography, kind of like learning from that on. I'm just hyping my boy up. And it was fun. And so it was really cool. And we went to Walmart because I wanted to showcase that it was at Walmart. And we went, like 10 a.m. And there was, since it's summer, there was so many kids and like parents and stuff out. And John had like not these big cameras, but like a kind of smaller camera to be a little more incognito. And then like last minute, we both got a little nervous. I'm like, just film me on my phone.
Oh, that was on the phone?
Yeah, that one clip was on the phone.
That's fine.
But it was fun. And then, so that was always good. And I was just like, this is so cool. Like we have a full-fledged media studio, essentially.
Yeah, start a production agency.
And then I'm like, we should start a production agency. I could do that all day. Shoot, create. It's kind of tiring. Like,
you said
for some reason, physically, I was like exhausted. My back was on John's too. Fritz. We were just like, we had to take a break and stuff. But it was fun. I just love doing that.
Yeah, I'm not good at that stuff.
Hopefully, I need all prayers on deck. Everybody who believes in praying.
You should too.
Cross your fingers and all of this stuff that this one brand gets back to me.
Oh, yeah.
For this brand deal. Because this is a big one, and it's goals.
This is not Talbot's, guys.
This is a different one. Oh, Jesus, it would be great.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why they wouldn't.
I don't know. I'm getting scared. I'm just getting nervous.
Because
they're the one. So they literally are the ones who DM'd me on Instagram, emailed me. I met with them. I met with their team, and then they sent this formal proposal with like my
whole ass
headshot. This whole thing, they wanted this whole campaign with me for a hefty low budget. Yeah. I was like so excited. I sent it to my manager, and she was like, "This is
everyone needs to be on Instagram, man, or at least Instagram, TikTok, everything."
I know.
Like we were just talking about before the podcast started, how Twitter's starting to pay users, and they're trying to beat YouTube's rate for users. So I'm like,
is that new though? Like, has Twitter always paid?
Oh, okay. Elon Musk is trying to bring more users over to Twitter to be more of a video format. And I'm not sure if they're paying for like impressions on your tweets too. I don't know about that, but I mean, if it's trying to be as competitive as YouTube, why wouldn't you post on YouTube and Twitter?
Oh, for sure.
I double up your.
I need to get on Twitter.
Yeah, like
I've never done Twitter, but I have started Threads.
I wonder how many people use Threads. Do you like?
So
well, you never
there's
use
some
Twitter.
Crazy statistic. The first 24 hours.
70 million or something like that.
70 million downloads of the app in 24 hours.
That's crazy.
And it's Instagram's version of Twitter.
Do you use both too, Twitter and Threads? I just posted 2 times. Each one. They look pretty much so identical. Do they look the same? I mean, I would say
or the same concept.
Yeah, I would say like there's small parts that are different, but the general interface is the exact same. And the way you would operate it
is the same.
Is like quoting something or retweeting something or rethreading something, whatever.
Oh, I see. I get it now. And then I can see the appeal in Twitter. I just never did it, but on Threads, I was like, oh, this is nice because you can say more without having to create a video.
Yeah, it's more easier content to publish.
What is that text? Like very text forward heavy. Yeah, that's crazy. Instagram was pushing that out. And of course, like you get on it and you can grow really quickly in followers.
Yeah, follow the Bay PT on Threads. And Ribu 18, I'm on there too, guys.
And the C Word Chronicles.
Got a good 70 followers. And the C Word
Chronicles. I think I'm almost at
4,000? Oh, crap, that was fast.
Yeah, it was fast. So that's cool. I still am learning. So it was funny. I was telling John, like when we first got Threads, I was like, I'm just going to use this opportunity to flirt with all of these brands that I want to work with. Yeah. Because everybody was small, like, huge brands didn't have this huge following yet. Yeah. And so it was like, in the back end, like getting videos together and like making content and like tagging them.
Did you post the wagon one?
I didn't post the wagon one.
Oh, you should post that one.
They're not on Threads, Radio Flyer.
What?
I'm sure they will be. It's slow. People are slow to go to a new
70 million platform. People downloaded it.
Yeah, but imagine all the people who aren't.
Yeah.
Like people are just slow to jump on that. I wouldn't even say it's a bandwagon. It's just another platform. Yeah. Like when TikTok first started, you did TikTok more so after me, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were on it from like the beginning. Yeah,
watching stuff. But I remember it took me a long time to be like, fine, I'll look at it.
And it was just like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just remember you showing me a lot of dance stuff in the beginning.
It was very dancey in the beginning.
And now it's just like all day yesterday I was watching history things on TikTok.
Yeah, it's such a cool. Yeah. But I will say the 24 hours of having Threads, like you wake up and you either check Instagram first or Twitter first or whatever. And usually I check my TikTok first or Instagram and I checked my Threads first. And then I saw a thread if they're like, who here hasn't looked at their TikTok in a long time? And everyone's like, yeah, I kind of forgot about TikTok.
It takes away time from everything else.
Yeah. So then what I'm hoping is TikTok is going to see that down trend and then they'll just boost everything you post on TikTok. So you just got to play the game with all of these.
I mean, you got to be on everything platforms. If you want to be successful.
I think so too.
Like people can see you, and I mean, think of all the buttons, the apps you press in a day. Yeah. You got to be in everybody's.
Yeah, I think when I started initially, I had this idea of like this is too much. Like I'm everywhere, and I don't want to bother people. But you kind of get over that because your reach is so much more than like your childhood friend you grew up with. Like your reach is people literally across the world who are on different time zones. They're on different schedules. Like, so that concept of, I don't want to post every day. It seems like a lot. Like, I don't want to bother people every day. Like you have to, if you want to grow or at a frequency that you're comfortable with, and you have to just be everywhere.
Yeah. It's a must.
And it's a must, and it's a lot of work. But it's crazy, that idea. And once you get over it, then you're like, okay, go.
Yeah, that was you at first, too. Remember you didn't want to post every day.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to post every day.
I had to tell her, guys.
And, like, I don't want to bother anybody, or they're probably tired of my content, or they're sick of me, or whatever. And then it's just like, no, if you zoom out and think of who you're trying to impact, which is not like the people you went to school with, or like it's not personal. It's more not global, like but it's bigger than that. Yeah. Then you start to kind of be like, okay, this is the only way I'm going to reach them. It's a numbers thing.
It's a numbers game.
So you just gotta up that frequency.
Did we talk about your peaks and pits?
No. Did I? Shoot. I don't remember, but it's been so long that there's many peaks. and there's not too many pits. We'll talk about like a bigger one, I guess. Peaks is I guess we did it.
This guy got to get prepared today,
I'm
guys.
not prepared. I'm not prepared.
I'm gonna take over as host from now.
Go ahead, Lord. Anyways, so let's talk about your chemo. We interrupt the podcast for today's sponsor. Hey, podcast fam, it's time to level up your work from home game. Introducing Ergo Space Store, your go-to destination for ergonomic office chairs that blend comfort and style. Whether you're a remote worker or creative genius, their Duo 5 black frame chair is a game changer.
Experience the perfect balance of support and relaxation. Head over to ergospacestore.com, browse their collection, and create your dream office setup. Your back and my back deserve the best, and Ergo Space Store delivers. Elevate your work experience today. Use the code C-Word Chronicles for $50 off your order.
So let's talk about your chemo.
So it went well. I went back
third
to
round.
EMD. When was it? Last week. Last Monday. I was at MD Anderson.
God, it's such a blur, man.
And so it went well. Chemo, I mean, everything in my neck's getting smaller. I can feel stuff in my lungs getting smaller. So chemo doesn't really bother me too much as far as like the actual side effects of it. I mean, I be getting diarrhea every now and then.
Yeah,
bubble guts, as they say. Shout out Imodium. So I didn't know this, but like Imodium and Pepto-Bismol be different.
I told you that.
Yeah, but I didn't know, I just not something I thought about in my daily life until I had to deal with it.
Significantly different mechanisms.
Liv has a hairy black tongue, everybody. And she gets it with Pepto-Bismol.
Guys, I'm going to tell you the story. When I was when I was in college, I took Pepto-Bismol at night, and I woke up. To go brush my teeth in the dorm bathrooms. And I was brushing my teeth, and I was about to brush my tongue. Look at my tongue in the mirror. I dare you to Google it right now. Just Google Pepto-Bismol black hairy tongue. Google it, John.
Yeah. Or type in BBC.
No. And I saw black hairy tongue, and I truly thought I was going to die.
Yeah, that's
it is the most jarring, scary thing of life.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's pretty bad.
It scared the shit out of me, and I don't know how. I probably called my mom.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, I'm dying. Ugh.
Oh my gosh.
I'm dying.
That's brown tongue. He's looking something else.
Then so I was like, Mom, I'm dying. My tongue is black and it looks hairy. And she was like, Did you take Pepto-Bismol? And I was like, yeah. So, she's like, it's the bismuth.
Bismuth. That's all I want.
And you have a reaction to the bismuth. And it's like, you can get it. I can't remember what.
It's bad. Yeah,
it's
nasty.
Gross. Ew.
Oh. And I remember
Thomas had it when we were at the lake house. They were about to go home because they were like, he's dying. And for some reason in the morning,
all your life came to that moment.
Yeah. And I remember he was like, Olivia, I thought I was dying. And I was like, no, did you take Pepto-Bismol? And he was so embarrassed. He was like, my tongue, I don't know what's going on. And they were just so concerned. And I was like, is it black? Did you take Pepto-Bismol? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, it's a thing. And he was so relieved that I did.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's so scary.
So scary.
It's the taste buds or the bumpy part on your tongue gets coated by the bismuth, and then it reacts, it oxidizes, and it turns black, and it looks like there's hair or fur on your tongue. So imagine being in college, and I was just petrified.
But why do you I didn't get it when I took Pepto.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some people have a reaction to it.
That's interesting.
But yes, so Pepto-Bismol and Imodium are completely different.
Yeah, I didn't know it. Antidiarrheal, as we call it.
Yeah.
And so side effects have been,
pretty minimal.
The Rhea, as I've been calling her.
The Rhea.
And
she's here.
She be angry sometimes.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, some blisters on my hands and feet. Hooping.
How are the ones on your hands? Let me see.
They went completely away.
They sure did.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, they're pretty bad, like to where
because you were playing basketball and it was like pressure points.
But my feet have like some that I've never gotten blisters in my feet, but from hooping.
Yeah,
this is part of it. And then what else has there been? Some like aches and stuff here and there. For the most part, no symptoms. So MD Anderson was good. Like overall, like relatively good, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. The doctor was pleased with your progress.
Yeah.
And it's only been 3 sessions or whatever, 3 rounds of chemo.
Yeah. I guess, do I talk about like the next part steps they take?
Yeah, we can.
So like there's some stuff that there might be seeing new in some small areas. And so they're trying to see like, do we want to switch up the treatment approach, which we probably are going to do. And so they want to make sure those new areas like calm down and don't, spread more. But I mean,
but not in your lungs or neck.
Yeah, lungs and neck are pretty. I mean,
I don't know if you want to say that, but I don't want people thinking it's spreading in your neck or your lungs.
Yeah. No, that's what I said in the beginning. Like the neck is pretty stable. The lungs are. It's a little bit stuff on like small spots in my bone. Like the hip's been good, but there's like another spot there, probably like a random part of my arm. Literally, like
I know,
right in my left proximal humerus, as they say. But like it's so weird because like I don't feel anything in any of these spots really. Like I felt a little bit after hooping on this past weekend.
In your arm?
No, in my back. But I'm like, I had that like 2 years ago too after hooping, and I haven't played full court basketball in a hot minute.
I know. I don't even know if you've said that you're. I don't think we've talked about you've been playing basketball, right?
Yeah. So there's this big. So backtrack. There's
this last one we talked about New Orleans, and we hadn't talked about. So yeah, you're playing basketball regularly.
I'm trying to play in this tournament August 11th. The crazy thing about this tournament is I've been playing in it for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And boy, I tell you, if you want to call somebody a loser, call me a loser. I haven't won one in 20 years. And a lot of it is like just the nature of the tournament and the teams you're with and the size of the churches you're with, because you play with the people you grew up with in a church.
Yeah.
We grew up in a Marthaman church. And so some of these churches are very big. Some of these churches are very small. If you're one of these bigger churches watching this, you have an advantage. Don't be sitting there acting like you don't.
Girl, shots fired.
And so like for a smaller church, it's even hard to get 5 people to play. Yeah. For these bigger churches, you got hundreds of people.
There's like a wait list.
There's a wait list to try to play. And so like we've gotten close, whatever, we haven't won. And so I've been playing it so long. It's just such a fun one to play in. You play with, you're like prideful for the church you grew up in.
Yeah.
And you want to win it for them because you're such a small and you're like an underdog.
Yeah.
But the chances are very low, but you just have this pride of like you're going to try.
Yeah. And it had been COVID. So they hadn't had it in 3 years.
Yeah, so we haven't had it for 3 years, and this is the year they come back, and of course, like fucking cancer this year. And so
I know.
And I really haven't hooped in too long, and I haven't been able to, for the most part. But anyways, I got a trainer. Shout out Sam, which I think I've mentioned before. And I joined this 3-on-3 league, which has been going good, but I'm rusty as fuck. Like it's so hard sometimes to. It's not the game's not hard. It's like I'm not game ready.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's like one of those things where it is such a mirror to how either deconditioned you are or like just there's so much conditioning specific to the sport of basketball that I think when you were playing often, you took for granted.
Yeah. Like
it's such an aggressive sport, like on your body.
Yeah. Like been playing half court for the most part, training at half court. 3-on-3 league is a half court, but on Saturday, which is my fault, like I just went and played. Like I didn't do a good job of warming myself up.
When you went, you went
I
to
literally
Dallas.
Just jumped in. I like drove to Dallas the night before and like kind of hung around all day and then just jumped in and played. Anyways, I just could play 2 games and my back started aching and I was like, God, that's my fault. But
yeah, that's something we're going to have to like remember is you're going to need like a day to... Because the 5-hour drive to Dallas, now that we're older, is like physically more taxing. Yeah. Like our back is stiff, our butts hurt. Like you're tired from driving versus we used to just like before Julian and all this, we used to like get up and just go.
Yeah, I remember I would hop out of the car and go straight to play.
Yeah, and now it's like you got to warm up, you have to eat, you have to hydrate, like all of that stuff, and we want to make sure you do that in August for the tournament.
I mean, to even, I'm not, what am I expecting from August? I'm not expecting I mean, I haven't won in 20 years. I don't know if I expect to win this year, but just to get out on the court.
Oh, just to play. I mean, that'll be good. And to see everybody too. That'll be nice. Juji will come. He can see you play.
Yeah, he can see me play and stuff like that. All the Addie, Cam, and Zara.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Can come out too. And so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Yeah, but overall, like, I forgot how we switched to the basketball.
Well, we were talking about, I don't know how we switched about.
But I think
you don't have much symptoms.
Oh, yeah, I don't have much symptoms, so I've been playing, but.
The blisters you had, and they're not really like blisters. They're like scrapes or wounds. Because a blister, I think everybody thinks has like that big bubble. They're just kind of like this irritated pressure point from where you were dribbling, and then on your feet, I think from the shearing from running and stuff.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so I mean, for some reason it's gone away. I don't know.
That is a known symptom to the lymphoma you're taking.
But we're looking up to switch up some medications here and there. There's like a gene within my cancer that they can directly target.
Yeah.
And that's the medication. Of course, the insurance denied just today.
Yeah.
So the insurance denied it last night before I walked into Dave Chappelle. I got it on my phone.
Oh, really? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I got it on my phone, and I was like, of course, it would be right.
Does it just say, like,
I've never gotten that before, but it's CVS Specialty Pharmacy.
Oh, okay.
And I guess they give me updates, and at 8:00 at night, they're like, your insurance is denied. God. And I was like, I'm just going to go to Dave Chappelle.
And enjoy. That was like a big one when that happened last week. God, it feels like so long ago when they, saw some stuff.
Yeah.
And it's weird because we had this wheels turning thing when we were at MD Anderson on Monday in Houston, because last time we went for chemo, remember Dr. Cavanias called in sick.
Yeah.
So we had this other doctor who this was only the second round. And so we were waiting on everything to come back, and it was either stable or not. And she had this delivery of like, you're stable. Congratulations. You can go home and hug Julian. Like this explanation of it sounding like very comprehensive, like you're good to go. And the last time we were there, Dr. Cavanias, it's not like she didn't say it poorly. It's just the delivery was a little bit different, where we had a little bit more questions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm stable, but this and that. So what we kind of took away from that, which I think people with cancer or like chronic illnesses, I think maybe they can resonate with. You have this preconceived notion of like, okay, I'm going to go in, and she's either going to say, like how the doctor said last time, stable, congratulations, you can hug Julian, or I'm not, and here's like the new plan.
Yeah.
And it was somewhere in between that it was like a lot of reading between the lines, and it was a lot of like, okay, where are you coming from? And then Rib would ask questions, and I could tell that she was not understanding his question. I don't know if she was just, and we love her, but it was a Monday. I don't know if she was just like a little bit off or what.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it was one of those appointments that I think brought us back to Dr. Hussein in the very beginning of the podcast that we were talking, where I had my panic attack, all of that stuff. And she was nowhere near that, but you go in that direction of like, oh my God, is this going to be that again?
Yeah. I felt like
it got a little scary.
I felt like going to the appointment, I was more relaxed than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And which you should be, right? Like you should be more relaxed and be like, okay, like this is just another visit.
It's so
But
hard,
like I allowed myself probably too soon to be relaxed. Like I should have been a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, you were nervous, remember?
Not the nervous part, but a little bit more like prepared to ask questions. Because she asked me things, and like when I look back at it, I should have been like, let's go over the pet report to the PET scan together.
Yeah.
Because it's up there. Why can't we talk about it? Stuff like that.
Totally. Yeah. There was just but I think now we know, and it's again one of those things like we're new to that, and I also think that because you were in a clinical trial, or you are in a clinical trial, you had so many people in the room with you too, and I don't think we were the only ones who were a little confused. I'll just say that. I think Jacob was a little like,
Yeah.
And so I never want that feeling again. I never want that feeling again if we can help it. So it's one of those, or I as maybe like a support person, because I can only assume how overwhelming it is when it's you hearing it. And it's not like it's not for me, but I think I can have like a little bit more of a objective eye on what you're wanting and what she's saying and see if I can so I think I'll just come better prepared with questions that align more with what I know you are thinking too.
I think that's fine. I literally don't think it's that though. I literally think she didn't read the reports that she should have read to explain to me.
Yeah.
Like that's honestly what it was.
I just find that hard to fathom that. Why not? Like, I just, why?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? And you can really go in that cycle too of like, why didn't you? Or did you not want us to see this? Or did you not want to tell us that? Are you not concerned? Are you not prepared?
Yeah.
All of this stuff. And eventually we, got on the same page with everything. But I think it's those couple of days between where it's just a little still scary.
Yeah. It's just those, and it shouldn't be like that. Like to me, I'm like this is supposed to be the best cancer center in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, when you have cancer, there's a couple things you pay for in life. You pay for your insurance. You just expect shit to be easy.
Yeah.
And then you expect your doctors to be on it. I tell you what, man, like if you're going to have cancer, go to MD Anderson Cancer.
For sure.
Right.
Definitely.
And I'm not saying it's perfect. I mean, I haven't experienced perfect at all.
No.
But like compared to other places.
Definitely.
It's completely different. I think that's the shit that surprises me the most is like the insurance, the difficulty of someone with cancer to go through insurance, or the difficulty to get answers. And not that you're like expecting the doctor to make you feel better, but like we know they have a lot of patients and a lot of people they deal with on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. But like if you're a physician, like you have to make that person in the room feel like you're the most important person.
Right.
In their life for those 20 minutes.
Right. And I think also, I was telling my mom this, trying to just kind of like bounce some stuff off of her. Like, I don't think they realize that you have had, a day of true anxiety. Every 6 weeks we have to do this. That, like, let's say it's on the weekend. That Friday before, we're both a mess.
Yeah, I hate it.
And then driving up, we're both like, it's great. It's been our dates, where we are together and alone, but they don't realize like, okay, our appointment is at 11 a.m., right? And you're doing 6 a.m. labs, and then you're doing another test, and you're doing another test. None of that matters, because that's all we're thinking about is that meeting of you telling us, is something good, or are we going to need to pivot and something's bad?
For me, it starts 2 days before. They have never once been able to put all my appointments in one day.
Right.
So like this most recent one, I have to wake up at 5 o'clock, drive to the Woodlands, get tests, wait a day, drive back to San Antonio from the Woodlands, drive back to Houston the next day, get a series of labs for for me to feel like the doctor's not.
Yeah.
You being prepared. And it's like
hard.
What more can I do?
And then, so in my head, I'm like, well, then why can't I or us together say that in the next time? Like, if we're not getting what we want, why can't I have a conversation with her about that and either slow her down? And in my head, I was like, she came in with talking about your ALK mutation, which is that gene that they're going to try more targeted therapy for. And we're there. She's like going in like, hey, how are you? This truly like, hey, how's it going? How are you? How's your new job? This ALK mutation. We're going to see, it's been studied on lung cancer, but not a ton on thyroid cancer, blah, 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 blah. But we'll have it just as backup, blah, 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 blah. And she's going on this spiel about everything. And we're literally like, are we good or not?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
So I think there's some room there where I can advocate for being like, we have had panic attacks for 3 days leading up to this damn meeting.
Yeah.
You need to open it with the good or bad news.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And I don't think that's, I obviously won't say it like a total biatch, you know, because I do like her, and I she's very research based, and I get where she's going, and she's almost like excited because you're like this unicorn of a patient with all of these damn rare stuff. And so I get it in her lens. She's like, okay, you know, but for us, how this has impacted our life, and every 6 weeks we have this stress I think it would be fair, and maybe people in the comments, y'all can tell us too, if you've experienced this, like to just say, no, this is how we're going to run this meeting.
Yeah. Cause I could tell when you come in and you're just, this, like I said, we do like her, but it makes her sound bad. That's not the point. But when you come into something, you're just like blabbing everything that you're like,
her agenda.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, let's get to what's happening right now.
Right.
You know?
And like, maybe I do want to hear, I need to hear. And if that's not medically possible to hear this, then that's fine. But I don't think it's past us to be like, I need you to tell me point blank if I'm stable or not.
Yeah.
I don't want you to say you're stable, but there's like, blah, 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 that could happen, blah, 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 blah. I just want to hear what I need to hear, like, now. And I always do this because she knows that we're medical. And I'm like, there's no way you could be talking to a 70-year-old man with a high school education who has this type of cancer the same way. Like, it would go over their head. Mm-hmm. And she's just talking about the ALK gene and receptor and inhibitors and blah, blah, blah. And there's thousands to choose from, but we'll have to put it with the marker I don't want to. So then you'll have to go in blah, blah, blah. And we're keeping up a little, but we're still like, yeah, lady, okay, so what does this mean? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if that's something that we can kind of have a conversation with her about, is like, hey, in the future, if we're going to have to see you every 6 freaking weeks for Lord knows how long, this is kind of how we would feel comfortable meeting with you.
I think that's fair. I think like I literally just want to hear my report and talk through it. Yeah. I think that's what I literally want to hear, because like I don't want to hear it 2 days later.
Right, which is what happened.
Yeah, and it's like,
and you had, we again, like from the first episode of you finding out you had cancer through my chart, we had to find out something shifted through my chart.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to.
And then we're like, we just met with you. Why didn't you? What did you just? Not read it, or like why? And then we spiraled. See, this is why we're learning. Like, this can't happen again, because the whole ride home we were like, do you think she didn't read it because it's really bad? Is it not stable? But she said it's stable.
That was a day later.
Yeah,
when we got
the ride home we were still like, she didn't really say that. You know, there was just a lot of ifs, and I don't think that's fair. Even if it's bad, I would rather know it's like bad.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like this in between, this
rather have to read it
if thing. So I think I don't think that's unfair to try and do next time. And obviously we'll go in more prepared if that's how she does it.
Like with this, you have to advocate for yourself. Not one other than your family members that actually care. Like, not one doctor, no one's, which is so crazy thing. You're like, you have to be on the ball with your reports, with your shit. I mean, I had a situation where like,
totally, yeah.
Like I had to show the doctor, hey, no, this was on a previous report. This is not new. And she was like, okay, that's not new. And I was like, the fuck? Like,
yeah,
you're supposed to know, like, why am I telling you this is not new? Like, it makes me be like, well, is this new? Because it's on a previous report order. They already spotted it. She's like, oh yeah, it's not new then. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
and then I'm like, what if you didn't know that?
What if I didn't think about that?
Yeah.
Like things like that, where I'm like, you just have to advocate for yourself. And I agree with you. Like, coming into the room, like the meeting, we want the meetings to go the way we want it to go. And
yeah, because I think about it like, you know, she left that room and she's on to the next patient, or she's on to lunch or something.
This is how I know she wasn't on it. She left the room and she's like, okay, thank you. And came back 3 times to tell us 3 different things.
Yeah. Oh, just popping in to check. Did you check in with, you know,
this or blah, that? Blah, blah. And I'm like, what is going on here?
So
like,
it doesn't invoke a lot of trust in terms of, you know, everything. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
It's like, of all the professions where you just need to be confident, succinct, direct, compassionate, this would be one that you would probably want to do really well in. Not all over the place and, oh, sorry, oh yeah, that was on your report. Ribu literally we went to his pulmonology appointment right before then, right? She was a joke too. I was like, okay, you literally...
She just stared at me the whole time.
Said nothing. And I can't see you for shit. So Rib can, and he literally looked at the computer where she was sitting,
reading it for the first time,
and could read the new reports that were coming in about Rib's
I'm like,
stuff.
Why are you reading my stuff in front of me?
Yeah,
it's
so
like, come
of
prepared
course,
to my
Rib.
shit.
I think I took a picture of him just full on like snooping. He was literally like all up in that computer, and I would have been too. I just can't see anything. So, and it said it said something.
Yeah.
And Rib was like, that's going to come up with Dr. Cabanillas. So he preemptively was like, I'm going to pull up my report from last time, screenshot that it was here last time.
Yeah.
And Dr. Cabanillas was like, yeah, it's showing, this is new or whatever. And like Rib was like, no, here it is on a screenshotted thing. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, then we're good. And I was just like, man, what if you didn't do that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. That's the weird
part
about these
appointments.
It's like,
so
you got to advocate for yourself. Like,
in whatever capacity you can.
Like, even like scheduling my appointments, it's like right now they have me coming July 31st, August 2nd, and then August 17th. I'm like, of course I'm going to change them around, but I'm saying this because MD Anderson is the best at doing it.
Yeah.
Like these other places are not. So like, even though these are problems, like, okay, like where else am I going to go?
Right.
And it's like, well, this is probably the best place to get this treatment. I mean, I don't know if y'all know a better place, but you got to advocate for yourself with this stuff.
Yeah, you do a good job about that too. And it's not only advocating for yourself, but it's being you're a good historian.
Yeah.
Like Ribs had so many tests and imaging, and I can't keep up with all of them, but you're so good, I would presume, because it's like your body, and you just kind of know. And you have everything like in order in your head, which is good. And too.
Like, I know how I'm feeling. Like, that's the crazy part. Is like, I'll tell these doctors sometimes what I'm feeling. They'll be like, it's nothing. And I'm like, it's happened so often where I'm like, what I'm feeling is right. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not somebody who's not educated and not educated in the medical field enough, where I know what I'm feeling is like not is different.
Yeah.
And so like the past appointments, especially since UT Southwestern, anytime I'm feeling something, I'm like, no, like let's look into this more.
Right.
And like even the hip, if I feel something different, last time I was like, let's get imaging. Might as well, like you're gonna need it down the road to compare it to.
Sure. Yeah.
Things like that, or like.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. And alternatively, or like opposite, for if something's bad, when things are really good too. Yeah. You feel you being good.
Yeah, like, and I was even thinking like they showed things that are possibly new, right? Spots. Mm-hmm. But the PET scan never showed things that went away. Like, for instance, on my neck, there was multiple things on my neck that were there in March that are not there now.
Right.
And so so we're saying like obviously there are new things, but we're not showing things, like they didn't do a good job of comparing things that were there to things that went away, and so
And I don't know if that's just one of those things, like it's still so like new, generally speaking, to where you don't have these like really good contrasting scans quite yet. Like maybe it'll take a couple more to where they can really get a trend. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, you're very attuned with your body too. Like that's why, like when Rib was like, I want to play basketball. I'm like, okay, I know you do. Go play. And you are the first person to take yourself out, slow down, be careful, especially now.
Yeah.
To where that's, doesn't worry me at all either, because you're just very attuned with your body. You know when you're feeling good and when you're not. And like you going to Dallas to practice and you thinking you could do that, and you had your back started hurting, now you'll know Again, you need more time and all of that stuff too, and just kind of analyze it from there too.
Yeah.
But that's one thing the doctor was saying too, is like with this type of cancer, most people feel pretty good with it unless it's like really bad in your lungs and stuff. That's when they start to have a little bit of problems.
Yeah.
So that's, it's one of those things that we're going to keep going until we keep going.
Until we can't no more. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm feeling good for the most part. Other than some back pain I had from hooping, but like that already kind of went away.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like up until like the back pain, it's weird. You're reading a report that doesn't even look like you. You're like, what the, like, what?
Yeah, it must feel so surreal.
They're like the weirdest feeling. I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah.
Like, I literally feel completely normal. I went to play golf on July 4th and played one of the best rounds I ever had. Yeah. Like things like that. Where you're like, this is so weird. Like,
yeah, it's such a weird thing.
Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like
and
that.
I think a lot of people would see, and myself included, I think would see, that report and be like, okay, let me not do anything.
Yeah.
Or let me just like sit down, or let me just rest, or let me just like take it easy. And that's valid too. But I think there's also your mindset of like, no, what else am I going to do? Just sit here and think about my cancer?
I always think of like, so it's like this fearful thing, right? That's like paralyzing. I think the one thing, so for sure family gets me through it, and like talking to you, and then Juji.
Yeah.
Like I want to play and I want to do stuff, and then like you have these things, but like, not to get all religious here, but like there was that book, The Beautiful Outlaw, that I read maybe like a year or two ago. And, I like to think I have a relationship with God, and I pray, and I do all that. But this book was different a little bit because it made me think of like Jesus in a different light, as far as like obviously like he's the Son of Man, like all this stuff, right? But like, what if he was just a human? Like, what if he just lived his life just like a human, and we didn't even think of him as the Son of Man? So stripping that part, the spirituality part back, like the part that always gets me is like, so this guy, Jesus, came and he died on a cross, supposedly knew the whole time he was going to die, right? Like, how scary is that? And so like when I think about it, I'm like, well, like this dude knew exactly what was going to happen to him. He knew he was going to get whipped, and he asked, like, take this away from me.
Yeah.
Right. And he like, so just saying like he was scared.
Yeah.
Right. And then he got his ass whooped. And then
it like humanizes him.
Yeah, humanized. And then he, after being whooped with like what was it, talons and on the 9 tails, whatever they called it, he had to carry a cross up a hill. I can barely walk the hill of my house. I'm feeling normal without cancer.
Yeah.
Right. And so like that sequence of thoughts of thinking like, okay, this guy who, if we just think of him as a guy, but then you add on, he was the Son of Man and all this kind of stuff, makes me really sometimes feel stronger, because I'm like, okay, if he was able to, as a man, I don't know if this is all making sense, but if he was able to, as a man, be that scared, ask for it to be taken away, like what's about to happen, then get whooped, then climb up a mountain with the cross, and the cross is what, 50 to 100 pounds, and then be hung from something, and he did it,
right?
Like, and he knew what was happening. He didn't ask for it. He could ask at any moment, let's not do this.
I think that gives you some good...
I feel like it always, like, I think about that moment, and it's like, okay, it gives me, like...
Yeah, some strength.
Like, just to know that someone like Jesus, the person we, worship, whatever, was scared.
Right.
You know what I mean? For me, it takes away the fear of it a little more, of being scared.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
You don't have that...
Well, because somebody that you idolize and worship, again, you're humanizing him with, he has emotions, he has feelings.
Yeah, emotions, like
he was scared, and that fear is like a huge emotion in all of this.
Yeah.
And it can be really paralyzing, like you were saying, where you just you're stuck with this like fear.
Yeah.
Which I think you've experienced very minorly, like with just some anxiety about it, how you kind of were saying you don't really want to do anything. And by this, I'm saying like one day you just said that, and that's big for you because you're very active.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think hearing that gives you that strength and that perspective of he can do it, I can do it type
thing.
Like
he created us in his image. So like if he created us in his image and he was able to do that, to me, I always think of that. He's like, take this cup, when he said, take this cup away from me or something like that, I was like, I'm saying the same thing. I'm like, take this away from me too. Like, cause you're scared of it, you know? And it's something it helps me draw strength and be like, okay, I'm going to accomplish something no motherfucker's ever accomplished. You know what I mean? I'm going to play in tournament. And that's the part that kind of gets me and always driven me since I was a kid. I was like, I'll look out there and, you know, we just talked a second ago about these big churches versus small churches.
Yep.
And it's that aspect of like, I'm going to do everything I can to beat you.
Right.
And I haven't, but like, it's
You've gotten close.
I've gotten so close.
And individually, you've done really well.
Yeah. Individually, I've done really well and I've had really good tournaments and played really good, but it's just like that fact of like, I'm going to whoop your, like, I don't give a fuck what happens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to come to this shit. I'm bringing it all to the table.
Yeah.
And even with the cancer and how I'm playing now, I'm like, it bothers me this week. I had back pain. I didn't get to, you know, do the things I wanted to do. But it's like, okay, like I'm going to come out and half of you motherfuckers don't know I have cancer. Mm-hmm. Half of you do and don't even reach out to me and say anything until I say hi to you. And then I'm going to whip your ass with it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if we'll win, but that's my mindset.
That's
right?
your mentality.
That's the only one way I know how to think.
When it comes to sports, man, you're so competitive.
Yeah. Like even if I go play golf, a round of golf, like I won't say anything outwardly.
Well, I think golf is one of those things. It's so introspective. It's not a team sport. So it's like all you, and if you play bad, it's your fault.
Yeah, like for the GCI this year, GCI 2-time champ, won this year a couple months ago. So for GCI this year, remember I lost the year before, like on some stupid ass long putt.
Yeah.
All I thought about for a year was winning because I was so fucking annoyed.
Yeah.
And like, yes, we won, but like I was just like, I do not. Like that motherfucker's not gonna beat me again. Like,
ferocious in you. Yeah,
like, I get it. Want to lose, and I'm sure a lot of guys are like that. But I don't know. I just don't want to lose.
I know, and I think for you the goal of this tournament is not necessarily to win, but just to play.
So it is like
good.
The cancer answer. This is what I've been saying. Like sometimes I feel like I'm a cancer patient because I'll be giving like we're gonna be strong. We're gonna live strong. We're gonna have a right mindset. I'm like, damn, I sound like someone with cancer. That's the cancer answer is saying like
I like that the cancer answer
is saying like I can't wait to go out there and play and just like run up and down the court for 10 minutes and just be joyful for the moment I give. Honestly, the way I feel is like fuck that. I'm gonna go fucking win the shit. And, and if something happens, fuck it. Like I don't. But that's like the answer in my head that I'm actually thinking is like I want to be like I want to win. I'm not gonna drive in 4 hours to Dallas, train this hard to think. I'm just happy running up and down the floor. Everyone give me praise for like having cancer and being like that, right?
And that's not what you want either. I get it. It's you'll land somewhere in between.
No, I'll probably while I'm in the moment, I'll probably land on. I'm trying not to. That's what I'm trying to hold myself back from. But I'm gonna land in like I can tell my tendencies are to land in the like ultra extreme of like, okay, we're out here for an hour. I'm going to do what I have to do for an hour until I can't, right?
I know. And that's one of those things where I'm just like, well, I'll just be holding my breath the whole time.
No, it's more so me. Like, it's hard for like when you've been feeling fine your whole life, it's like hard to switch that gear to be like,
totally.
Let's just run up and down the court a little bit.
Just happy to be here.
And like, let me shoot it like a victory 3. Like, you know how they bring the manager out? He could be special ed or something like that too. And like, I don't want to be the special ed manager out there.
No. I mean, you're training well and playing well, and you're playing in the league right now too. Outside, mind you. I'm like, oh my God. You're
in the
pass
league.
Out in the heat. Yeah.
Shouts out. Sorry, guys, gonna hoop today.
17. Oh yeah, you forgot.
We're 500 right now.
Wow. Anywho, so that's the updates with everything. We'll probably update you a little more when we have more updates. It's still kind of up in the air with a direction of where your treatments are going to go, or if they're going to go or switch and all of that stuff too. Right.
Well, yeah. I mean,
or if insurance.
It's just insurance approval getting the drug, which this drug is supposed to work so much better. I mean, it's targeting the gene that's supposed to be targeted. Yeah. Like, so in a sense, it's more specialized to me. And the doctor, I mean, I even asked the doctor the question, like, are you even confident in this? And she's like, yeah, this should work. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, this should work. I
think it's cool, or not cool, but I think, it's made you've made so much progress with a non-specific or non-targeted type of chemo regimen.
What I'm on now,
what you're on now. So the hopes is that now that it's more targeted, which I remember being like, well, why didn't we just start with this? But your freaking insurance was taking so long. So they were like, we can't wait.
Well, the genetic testing take for so long.
The genetic testing took long. Everything took long. So that's why they started you on this more like broad generic type regimen. And now we have everything to kind of target it more. So hopefully, insurance doesn't suck and we can get started with that sooner than later. And then we'll just go from there. And I think the biggest thing with cancer or a cancer like this is just learning to pivot, which I think we talked about before. Mm-hmm. Like, you just got to pivot. You have to cry a little bit and freak out. And it's scary because they're like talking about doing different things and switching and things. And it's like, we just started this and it's just so scary.
Yeah.
And then you don't even like really know what you're scared of aside from like the big one that's looming over, like, are you going to die type thing, which that's not what we're scared about, but it's just like change is already scary, like in a normal day-to-day thing. But when you have it with this, like this type of change is so scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really intimidating too. And then you know what is so scary is you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
What's scary is like you either do it or like so you don't want to do it, or you know what I mean? Like, what are the options? You know? So that's what's scary is you just got to lean in and like
just keep going.
Truly, literally like pray to God, like that we're in good hands.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, the things that give me a lot of hope are the stuff that's minimizing on my neck. Like, you don't just go down for no reason.
Oh, I know. I wish you like people could feel your neck.
But I like that. I think that's where I keep saying like I know what I'm feeling is because when I'll tell the doctor and she'll be like, yeah, and I'm like, no, I like because in some instances she'll be like, that's great news.
Yes.
And in other instances she'll be like, okay, and I'm like, well, I got the vibe now. Like, if this goes down, that's good news.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
literally, Rib had like 3 nodules left from after his surgery. And they were large when he had his surgery. They took him out. The swelling went down. And then you could really feel them. Mm-hmm. Like, truly just nodules. And there was 3, right? Yeah, like 2 kind of stacked on each other. And then 1 more up here. And Rib every day feels them like probably multiple times a day. So much so where your coworker's like, why are you always touching your neck? And you're like,
I just have it.
Yeah. But I would feel them daily and you know.
You feel like I make you feel like every 5-10 days.
Or not daily, just so I'm not familiar with it and I can't even find one of them.
Yeah, one of them's completely gone, and like the other ones are so small. And like even in my lungs, they showed like I think 1 reducing, the other stable.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Good. Like it's you just gotta keep going.
You just gotta keep going. I mean, truly, what else are you gonna do? And you just have to keep going. You stay healthy mentally as well. It's such a load. I feel like you have a better way of processing it too. And I don't know if that's just because it's like, what else are you supposed to do? But
yeah. I think it's like naive, trying to stay naive a little bit to things too. Is like the day comes and like, well, we are not even naive.
Maybe just optimistic.
I think what we talked about in the beginning, that you're staying in the moment on things, like not thinking too far ahead, or not thinking one ache is like
going to be a fracture. This it, or
like what's the point in that, right? Like all I'm thinking too far ahead on now is being prepared for a tournament, but other than that, I'm like,
I think that's good to think about too. It takes your mind off of stuff too. I don't think there's anything wrong with adding that into something to think about.
And like the work job, like I actually enjoy it. Like turning a company around, like those are the things I like doing. So like, doing this kind of stuff.
You turn it around, honey. We're turning that around.
Yeah. Like
I'm doing great. Maybe so next one we can update like how it's doing, or just very briefly and generally.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah, it's doing good. All right, guys, we're going to take off. Don't forget to follow us on the C Word Chronicles podcast.
On Threads.
On Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Don't forget to
use Twitter.
Twitter. Oh, I caught your God. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us, leave a comment down below. Say hey. We can't wait to hear from you. We will check in with you next week or the week after. We love you so much. Thank you for all of your support, all of your DMs, all of your messages. We hear you. We love you. We see you. Have a great day. Love you.